Hey gangsters, it's just me, Leslie Singh, aka Ghetto Mama, and it's Thriller Thursday. I'm cold, so I got a blanket wrapped around me. Anyway, are you guys ready for a true life scary story? This happened when I was like 13 years old. But first, let's see what I'm eating tonight. I got breakfast for supper. I got ham, it's deli ham, and eggs, and I got bread that I fried in a skillet with the eggs. I know, carbs, but I just wanted this tonight. And of course, cheers. So, I have jelly too. That's for my bread that was in the things. Now who gets, there's a piece of peanut butter in my jelly. Shame on the last person that used that. Delicious. Gotta have some pepper. The bad stuff. The salt. Anyway. Scary story. Thriller Thursday. If you guys seem to like this and I get a lot of views, then I might stick to this being Thriller Thursday. I might be able to. I'm only going to post true life things on here that is scary, so that I want to keep it all real. I'm not going to read out of a book or tell you some legend. Well, I might tell you a legend, but only way I'll tell you a legend is if I had some personal experience with that particular legend. My eggs are getting cold, but anyway, when I was 13 years old, I had a friend, and I'll tell you her name, but not her last name, because there's a billion of these kind of names in the world. Her name was Cindy, and Cindy she rode the bus with me. That's how I met her, actually. I met her in my 3rd grade class. And I knew her all through high school up till I was like 21 years old, and then I totally moved away from Ohio. Anyway, her sister was into the paranormal, and her sister had a Ouija board. And Cindy was telling me about this Ouija board stuff. So, I'm 13. I'm curious. So anyhow, Cindy came and spent the night. Cindy came and spent the night at my house. And she brought over this Ouija board. And need a drink. Anyway, she brought over this Ouija board. And we were in the living room. It was on like a Saturday afternoon. And we were playing with this Ouija board. And I didn't think it worked, so we were twirling it around, you know, like trying to confuse each other, because we didn't think it worked. And she swiped it from her sister. So she wasn't supposed to have it anyway. And my grandma was like super religious, and so was her friend. Well, one of my grandma's friends came over, which I'm pretty sure this lady's deceased because she was like super uber old when I was 13. And me and Cindy, we didn't know that playing with the Ouija board was bad or anything. We didn't know because her big sister did it, and I think Cindy's trying to copy her sister. Anyway, my grandma's friend came over, and her name was Clarabelle. For real, Clarabelle, that was her name. And she was an old lady. And she had puffy white hair. And she's very stern, very religious. And she's seen what we had. My grandma didn't know what we had because my grandma didn't really keep an eye on me. So anyway, my grandma came into the living room and Clarabelle, because that was the only living room that we had, so she wanted to entertain her old lady friend from church. Clarabelle happened to be a Seventh-day Adventist, although my grandma was Catholic. Anyway, Clarabelle seen the Ouija board and she said, "Oh, you girls, something really bad's going to happen." That's what she said. So we're like, you know, like, what's going to happen? We thought we were like in trouble, you know, with her or my grandparents. So Cindy hurried up and put the Ouija board back in its box and everything. And I didn't really think about this, except for the fact she said it was bad. Anyway, I was so curious about this thing. Guess who saved up money to get one? So I got one. See, it must be bad. I'm choking. So I saved up money to get one. And I played with it by myself because I didn't have anybody to play with the Ouija board with me. And it spelled out that this person on the Ouija board's name was Zeke. And back in the day, there was a Barry Manilow song that would come on the radio. I wrote the songs. That was the name of the song. It had some really deep lyrics in it. And every time I would hear that song on the radio, I thought of this Zeke that was on the Ouija board that I bought. Well, come to find out that Zeke committed suicide because his girlfriend, Sibid, which I talked to Sibid on the Ouija board too. This is like a true, like, Romeo and Juliet type of thing. Anyway, she caught the plague. And she got really sick and she passed away. So, he couldn't handle it. And he committed suicide. So, back in the day, being 13 years old, I never heard of Romeo and Juliet. So my teenage brain don't know any kind of the story, but anyway, so it wasn't like me making it up or anything like that. That's not what it was about. So anyway, I told my story to the neighbor kid, Sue, that lived up the street from me. Now, I lived like on a ranch, and there's like half a mile or a mile between everybody. So, and she rode the bus too, and I told her about, and she wanted to play with the Ouija board too. So, we went to her house because her mom and dad, they had like 9 kids, and they wanted to go to the auction on a Friday night. So, And Sue was older. She was the oldest one to watch all the kids. And her mother, Kay, asked me if I would go and help watch kids. So, yeah, we did. So after the kids went to bed, we were playing with the Ouija board. And here out of the clear blue, here comes Zeke and Sibid. And this moth, this little brown moth kept coming around. Every time Sibid would come on the Ouija board, there's a little brown moth that would appear no matter whose house I was at, what room I'm in. So that was Sibid. And we kept asking the moth, "Are you Sibid?" And it would fly and it'd go doing and hit you on the head and it'd just be doing all kinds of stuff. So I kind of think this moth was some kind of a manifestation of this spirit. You know, that's what I think. And I still think that. Anyway, about a year later, my aunt died of cancer. And she had the lymph node cancer, lymphedema or something like that. Anyway, she died, but she didn't really die of cancer. She died of the drugs that were trying to help her. But anyway, we didn't try to bring her up on the Ouija board. But I was like really angry at her because if there's kids in the room, don't say nothing, get them out of the room. But anyway, she used to be abusive with me. Not mentally, but physically, and I'm not talking about getting beat up, I'm talking about, you know. So, I was angry about that, and after she passed away, the song came on the radio, A Horse with No Name, and I heard it, it's like, oh, and it made me think of my aunt that had passed away. And in the middle of the night, I heard this song in my head. It woke me up. I was sleeping. You know, I come through the desert on a horse with no name. You know, and then I thought of my aunt. And then I got this really weird buzzing sound in my head. And I could actually visualize this Clarabelle saying, "You're going to be in trouble." So I thought that I was... Baby's screaming in the back. So I thought I killed my aunt. That's how much guilt that I had for playing with this Ouija board in my aunt's death. She died in 1972, and the movie The Godfather was on at the theaters. And actually, this is really weird because the night she passed, my grandma, good choice, took me to go see The Godfather. And I was like, just a kid, I couldn't sit still, don't want to move, I don't want to see this movie. It was a bad choice on her part. But my grandfather didn't want to babysit me, even though I'm 13. So, he told her to take me with her. But anyway, I know you're probably not following my story because I'm jumping around in my mind too telling this because of what happened. So anyway, I got scared and I threw my Ouija board away and everything. And then, I don't know what happened, but somehow I came by another one. Someone either gave me one, oh, somebody gave me one because they weren't allowed to have it, so they gave it to me to hide. I'm thinking, oh, great. So they gave me this Ouija board to hide, and guess who started playing it? Yeah, I did. And now, this Ouija board had an evil spirit on it named Ben. and this Ben on the Ouija board, he would cuss me out. He was really mean and bad, and you know, I still just like, ugh. But anyway, my friend to her Ouija board, and I wound up, we had an old shed on our property. I put this Ouija board in this old shed, and then I got too scared to go back out there and get it when she requested it. I don't want no part of that shit. It's probably still in that shed, if that shed exists on my grandparents' old property. I can just see somebody finding it and go, oh my God. So that's kind of scary. But the real scary part is, my friend Cindy, when we were like, this was like a year later, she came over and spent the night at my house. And now I'm totally done with this Ouija board stuff. Nope. Anyway, now Cindy has the Satanic Bible. And she's trying to turn me on to all this stuff and everything. So she came and spent the night. And she made this little statue. And we had this little campfire, like, in our yard. And, this was weird. She was, like, saying something to bring some kind of weird spirit forth. I don't remember what it was, but she was saying this stuff, and we had a campfire, and for whatever reason, we were all of a sudden on the picnic table, and we were discussing that we wanted some grape Kool-Aid. So we went into my house to get grape Kool-Aid, and we came out, and my grandfather's car was gone. And our little campfire, he had to like back up over this thing to leave, to go to work. And last time we looked, it was like 10 o'clock at night. Now it's like 5 something in the morning. My grandpa don't go to work. No, he had to be to work by 7 a.m. in the morning. And he had a 45-minute drive, but we'd never seen him leave. Our little campfire thing was still there, kind of, sort of. I don't want to say kind of, sort of, because it was like the embers, you know, it's dying down. So we went in the house, and we're trying to be really quiet. This was at, like, I don't remember, but... And I know my grandfather was still in the house. I know he was, because he snores really loud. We could hear him snoring, and I'm like, let's not wake him up. We're going to be in so much trouble. But anyhow, I know this looks probably gross to you, but I think it tastes good. Anyway, we got our grape Kool-Aid, and we went to go sit on the picnic table outside. And now it's daylight. And we're looking around, we're going like, my grandpa's gone. There's this like foggy mist on the road. My grandparents' house sat up on like a little hill, and there was like a road that went straight, and then a road that was like a T, so my grandparents' house were like on the corner of this road. And we are freaking out because now this time has gone by. We did not see my grandfather go to work. It's daylight, there's mist on the road, so we went walking on the road. We're going like,